Well, good day, ladies and gentlemen. Today we've got something new. Instead of just another bloody live stream of some game, instead today myself and Triple X Medic are going to be taking a deep dive into Resident Evil Dead Aim. Instead of me trying to play the game while we talk about it, we've already played the game, and now we're just going to talk about it without having anything to distract us. Now, I never heard of this game until Triple X Medic told me about it. It just completely passed me by. I think it passed a lot of people by. So, Triple X, when did you first discover Dead Aim?
This game
Wait, wait,
came
wait,
out,
wait,
there was
wait.
websites.
Hold on. Your audio is not available. Say all that again.
I discovered Dead Aim when it originally came out. I saw it when it was in magazines, and by the time 2002 rolled around, the internet was in full swing. So I was kind of looking forward to it.
Now, what we got here is a Generation 1 Resident Evil game. So this is pre-Resident Evil 4. It came out just a couple years before Resident Evil 4. So it still kind of has the, kind of stylized, silly plot of the first couple Resident Evil games. But it does something really cool. Now, this is not just, a turret controls kind of typical survival horror thing. Oh, no. This thing actually used a light gun of all things while still maintaining third person movement instead of just a bloody on rails thing.
That's right. This was one of Capcom's attempts at a light gun game. Unfortunately, in the United States, Survivor had the light gun redacted due to a certain unsavory incident at a school, but Dead Aim was afforded the full light gun treatment. And what a treatment it was.
Yeah, so you'll notice on the light gun here that there's a D-pad on the back. And the reason why there's a D-pad is because this uses full 3D movement. So you move around just like a typical video game with your D-pad, and then it goes into a first-person light gun mode. Now, I didn't know how this could possibly work, but I caught Silverwing's live stream literally just yesterday, and it works remarkably well. It's amazing what they did here. I'm just really surprised that such a unique way of controlling a game worked this well.
Especially for how early of a time it was. When you think about the technology that we had for consoles, that is, it's amazing to think that you could just use a peripheral and control your character in one fluid movement.
Now, how it works is kind of interesting. Like now the footage you're looking at here is coming just from the it's coming from PCSX2, which it emulates perfectly, and I'm using the controller, and it works pretty well with the controller. And so, I think with the light gun, it would actually be a little bit more fun. But what you're supposed to do is you put your cursor on the heads of the zombies, and if you can get right between the eyes, you can get a one-hit kill. That's pretty hard, even with just a regular controller. Apparently, you're supposed to be able to use the PlayStation 2 mouse, which I never saw back in the day.
Yeah, the game works right out the box with any USB mouse that you can plug into your PS2 Fat Boy. Now, I've heard people say that, oh, the game is just ridiculous without a mouse or like and I've never had a problem with just a controller. I beat the game multiple times just using said controller. So if you don't have a light gun, the controller still is a viable option. And not many people know this, but if you have a second PlayStation controller, you can dual wield one controller in one hand, one for the other, so you still have the movement with one finger and the aiming with the other.
Movement with one finger, huh? Sounds kinky.
That's right.
I actually kind of like doing that guns akimbo sort of thing, like at the arcade. Like you put quarters into either one. Quarters. You swipe the card with either one, and you just hold both. That's actually pretty fun. I wonder if I could get that to work with the emulator or not.
I used to dual wield Area 51 with both gun cons.
Oh yeah, I've done that. I did that recently, just about a year ago. I went to a local arcade where they let you do that. It's like one of the things about light gun games is they are pretty simplistic. I mean, it really is just on rails, arcade kind of like nonsense. Where is this? In short, it's a whole ass Resident Evil game just with light guns. Like that's the thing I loved about the early 2000s. They experimented. They tried new things. It's such a cool thing.
We are being raided by Smoking Pixels' crew in the chat.
Welcome, Smoking
Hello,
Pixels.
everybody.
Welcome, everyone. And this is our live. We're going to do it live. After action report of Resident Evil Dead Aim. Needless to say, I really like this game. I did not know it was as good as it was. Like, I'd never even heard of it. And it just, I like the fact that they tried something new and it worked. I can kind of see why they never would go and do anything else with this kind of concept, because by the time this came out, you had your, laser point aiming third person stuff, and they weren't going to really try to come back to this. But this works so well. Do you know of any other games that tried this, like real game plus light gun?
Aside from Survivor, which had it redacted,
Okay.
I think Dino Crisis had a light gun game as well. But aside from that, it's still Capcom. So no, I can't really think of many.
This is really cool. Like, you could have done so much more with this concept, Like, you could have made, like, regular first-person shooters. Well, I guess you couldn't do a first-person shooter like this, but, like, it's such a neat, kind of, like, forward-thinking idea that broke from just the typical crap you normally saw, All right. So, in this game, you have just a small number of characters. This is one of the Resident Evils on a boat. Because we're on a boat! I think
we're on a boat!
We got this game's on a boat. There was one on the GBA that was on the boat. And there's also one that was on the 3DS of all things that got a PC port that I've played a little bit of. And so there's not that many characters. They didn't go for too many characters. So what you got for characters is the guy you've been seeing wandering around is a guy named Bruce McGivern. It sounds so 80s it's not even funny. He looks like he's from the 80s. I've heard him described as like Paul Walker, which I guess he kind of looks like that. Rip.
With a broken neck.
Yep. The necks are all messed up in this game. I mean, just look at that. He's going to need a chiropractor so bad. As just said, he's not a bad protagonist. He at least is fairly competent. The story for this game is kind of takes a backseat, as you might imagine. So we're on a boat here, and the game kind of starts up in media res. Like, you don't know who Bruce is. You just know he's got a porn stash. He is being menaced by a guy named Morpheus. Yes, this game came out shortly after The Matrix. I don't know how they got away with Morpheus, though. Like, wouldn't that be like a copyrighted sort of thing?
I don't think you can trademark a name, like a physical name.
It just seems like that's so on the nose.
There was a peer-to-peer file sharing service called Morpheus as well at the same time. So, yeah, that's a good question. I don't know how you could try to trademark the name Morpheus for just one movie.
I don't know, but it just seems like that was a very popular character at the time. This is very much, she's going to have bad teeth. Sadly, there's a bit of a delay between what Triple X can see and what I can see, but I'm playing a clip of the intro, and it's like, we get introduced to the other character of the game, Fondling. Yes, that is her name. It literally is Fondling. And she pulls a pin on a grenade with her teeth.
Ada wronged.
I mean, that's basically the character. And once again, I love the fact that this game is so, I don't want to say ridiculous, it's just so fun. Like, it's not meant to be taken 100% serious. And that's what I liked about the early 2000s, is they could just have fun. They didn't have to be 100% serious about everything. You got a boat, you got T viruses getting released, and you got to shoot zombies in the face, literally. I like how
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely not going for realism in this game. It's just it's almost the Sharknado of the Resident Evil B titles. They know it's a B game. They don't try to hide that it's a B game. It's just turn your brain off, have some fun. If you're
yeah.
looking for real, changing plots and highbrow sophistication, you're not going to find it here. But if you're looking for a good campy time to kill a couple hours and just shoot some zombies, you're going to find it in spades here.
Now wait a minute. They're not going to talk about getting rid of the central bank.
Nope.
They're not going to talk.
No digital currencies, no personal credit scores, no basic human income.
They're not going to be talking about the gender pay gap.
Nope.
Does Bruce McGivern get paid more than Fondling? These are the questions we need to know.
What's the conversion for the Chinese dong and the U.S. dollar in this game?
I mean, I don't
hello
know.
Smoking and hello Raiders.
This seems to me like that's what we need to know. I mean, like she's doing 10 times the work for half the price or something like that, right? But anyway, this is a game where you fight naked zombies, and I'm all there for it. And the thing is, this game works. It works. I love it. I love the fact that it works. Although this is a game that makes me sick because of the flashing lights. I don't have like epileptic problems or anything, but I remember when I was streaming it the first time, I got really seriously motion sick from all the flashing lights. It made me want to puke.
Speaking of the game just working, what's something about this game that I love that we just don't have today anymore? This game is 22, 24 years old. You can pick it up off your shelf, you can put it in your PlayStation, and it just plays.
Well, you don't need.
You don't have to sit through. Yeah, you don't have to sit through like an hour and a half of updates. There's no patches, nothing. Just slap it in. It's ready to go.
Now, wait. You mean that Sony can't like censor it halfway through the game so it doesn't offend our delicate sensibilities?
Nope, they can't retcon their own games.
How horrible. And yeah,
how dystopian it must be that they can't turn Morpheus back into a Mao.
Okay, so since you brought him up, okay, so in the game, what ends up happening is Morpheus ends up releasing the T virus on the ship, and Bruce McGovern and Fondling have to stop him. Now, what Morpheus wants to do is he wants to create a kingdom. You find this in like the little notes. I don't think the game actually comes out and says this. He wants to be like the queen of this like kingdom ruled only on beauty. And he ends up kind of like getting partially defeated, like partially through the game, right? And so he decides to transition into a man mama.
That he does. He is obsessed with image, so he's probably Californian. But I will give Capcom this. They were really progressive in this era.
It's kind of
and
funny.
I know we joke about it before, but yes, I would take one for the team.
Oh, you are a trooper because, oh dear. So yeah, he turns himself into basically... It's kind of interesting. I don't know why they went with this concept here, but oh man, he turns himself into, well, a man mama, and is basically sort of like a fee tyrant with a very, very tall forehead. Like, my God, that forehead is big. Probably amongst other body parts.
That's a 6 head.
Yes, exactly. The way they handle this, the first fight against Forpheus here is you just kind of got to run away, and it's not too unfair. I was able to figure it out without too much difficulty. Really, the boss fights in the game are perfectly fair. This is a very fair game. They give you plenty of ammunition. They give you enough health to really fight. Now, you don't fight Morpheus until about halfway into the game, I want to say.
Uh, yeah, roughly about. I mean, the game is technically really short, so I would go ahead and say, yeah, it's about halfway.
It doesn't really outlast its welcome. Now, the first boss you fight is like this new Toad Hunter. Now, you didn't like that guy, I don't think.
No, no. Like if we're referring to like the hunters in this game,
Yeah, the Toad-looking guys.
yeah, no, they literally look like generic battle toads. They're not hunters. They're just stupid. Just stupid.
I'll admit, I mean, the original Hunter was pretty scary, and in my mind, they always looked a lot less. They looked a lot more, scary in my head, whereas these guys just look kind of safe. But that's one of your first boss fights is with the Toads. Later on, you end up fighting Boogie 2988. He makes a cameo as
Yes, he does.
Now, this is one of those things where you kind of want to know the controls of the game before you try to play the game, because I was just using the thumbstick, and you can't like just use analog movement and walk. Since Boogie here is blind from eating way too many Hot Pockets, you can just
Hot Pockets.
Hot Pockets are the nastiest thing imaginable. Like, have you ever?
You know, I lived on them for a while.
Ugh. I had some in the 90s, and I think I wanted to vomit after eating those things. They were just the nastiest.
Ham and cheese and Philly steak are delicious.
I think I'll pass.
I will not have you besmirch my good Hot Pockets. Flash Pocket.
I'll pass on the Hot Pocket and getting down and dirty with Forpheus.
You're a Hot Pocket.
I don't know. I mean, I could be, but not that hot today, because it's actually 20 degrees for Texas. It's like, how y'all survive?
You know, for once, I can't bitch at you about your warm weather.
Yeah, because it's fucking cold. So yeah, the Boogie 2988 fight, you need to use the D-pad so you can walk, and then just use the Smith & Wesson Model 59 with the suppressor. I'm kind of, the footage you're seeing here, I'm kind of just getting annihilated by Boogie here. I'm like the bed that he sleeps on with the prostitutes or something. Like, it's not going well. I didn't get killed by him, thankfully, but it was still a harder boss fight than it probably needed to be. So yeah, just be sure to use your D-pad, otherwise, it's gonna hurt. The game itself, like I said, wait a second.
Don't be a D-head. Use the D-pad.
Exactly. I think the Boogie boss fight's probably one of the funner boss fights in the game. The others are all right, because after you defeat Boogie, you then fight a big bug. It's like one of the creepiest bosses. I'm not a bug guy. I don't like bugs. They're nasty. You're just looking at the little picture window there. It's like, oh, get it away from me. Get away. Get away. Get it away.
Yeah, I have no shame in admitting I have 3 phobias: heights, bugs, and spiders. And yeah, it is creepy. Kill it with fire. All the fire.
And it's just, I really like this. The fact that there's this many different boss fights. That's something I'm going to be talking about in another video, but about just the sheer amount of imagination. Like, they could have half-assed this game to hell and gone. Like, they could have, And yet they gave us a bunch of different boss fights. The very imaginative. Like, this game stays imaginative literally the entire game. It's not just zombies and bullshit. It literally is a Resident Evil game where you got to find keys, you got to find this and that. I think one of my favorite things about this game, though, is this is a Resident Evil game that feels like a legit Resident Evil game without a lot of the annoyances, because you can find the keys pretty easily. I didn't need you to like guide me through like every single door, Like, I was able to just kind of play the game and figure it out on my own. And I liked that.
There's there's something that's been on my mind, and I need to ask you, and I want to ask the chat this. When you're fighting that big insect monster, are those technically zombies?
Oh my god. I did
Well,
not.
what would you call them?
I mean, that's the perfect dad joke, and I didn't even think I could. I couldn't. I would have never even thought of it. But I guess you're right. I mean, they are T-virus enhanced bugs, so I guess they are zombies. Ba 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 ba.
Not the zombies.
But yeah, there weren't really that many puzzles, like Silverwing says. But it's one of those things, like, even just finding a regular key in, like, Resident Evil 1 was like a fucking challenge. Like, you could barely figure out where to find any of that stuff, you know?
Yeah, they did omit the puzzles, which I'm okay with because this game was kind of be meant to be like more action focused. And just trying to solve a puzzle, would just slow the pacing.
Just say it like it is. It's made
Because
for
I, I,
stupid.
I think the pacing of this game is just perfect. You're never going to be doing anything, and like you're not going to be backtracking, except for a few bits here and there in the beginning, and everything just flows. Like
It's made for
this is one
stupid,
of those
impatient people
games you
like
can
me.
beat in one sitting.
Yeah. It's made for stupid, impatient people like me. We don't want to have to draw out a map just to go down one corridor. Pen and paper, fuck that. I gotta get out and get a date. Wait, no. and and yeah, Silver Wings was able to beat it in one sitting. I was there for that stream. Now, if you're watching this in the future, you're like, wait, yesterday? Yesterday was 50 years ago. But yeah, like, this is a game that you're not going to get frustrated. I was so surprised that I liked it as much as I did.
Now wait till we get you to play Survivor with a light gun redacted.
Yeah, we'll be doing that soon. So there's Morpheus in all his glory. And as you can see, he shit looks a lot like the Tyrant. It's a cool callback, I think.
There's more Morpheus than meets the eye.
Yeah, I mean, and for PS2 graphics, that doesn't look too bad, really. I mean, but I don't know. I would not take one for the team. That forehead, man. It's just no, man, no.
I could.
No, can't do it.
I heard they have a built-in vibrate mode.
No, I don't think I can do that. I'm not into that. I can't do that. All right.
All right, come on, chat. There's got to be somebody in there that would take this chance.
I don't know. I'm not even sure Boogie would pay for that. I mean, you kind of have to. Now, what I find kind of funny, though, not to get too Twitter chuddy, but like, despite all of the T-virus enhancement, there's a scene in the game.
Thank you, agnostic.
There's a scene in the game where Bruce is able to literally hold off the man mama with just holding the door with his body weight, and you know, Morpheus there can't open it.
Lesvius at that moment.
I don't know.
These
Throw
jokes
her a
write
bone.
themselves. Up.
Throw her a bone, huh? All right, so you got anything else you want to talk about the game before we talk about the final boss?
Yes, I do. I do want to talk about one thing that I didn't mention when we were streaming it, and I only mentioned it in Silver's stream yesterday. The game does this wonderful thing where it attempts to do volumetric and luminescent lighting, which is I have to give them credit for the workaround because it's not a one-to-one light source, but it is a neat trick to make you believe that you are the one causing the shadows and the light. So whatever voodoo they pulled for the PS2 era was just brilliant.
Yeah, we can see that little bit of that right here. He's got a little like chest lamp, and I didn't even think about it, but like, yeah, that is pretty advanced for this time period. And the fact that this is just kind of like a little B sequel, you know, that's experimenting with light gun stuff. And agnostic, yeah, we'll talk about the guns. So like the Beretta comes back, the man mama complains about the Beretta being ugly. It's like, you see that? You see that, Morpheus? The Beretta looks nice. Unlike you and your big ass forehead. Anyway. Let's see. You got the Urban Glock, which is good for clearing out like large groups of enemies. It's got an interesting weapon roster. Like you don't normally see a G36 in a game from this time period.
You know, uh, I could have sworn that was a Type 95, but General is insisting that it is a G36. And upon closer inspection, I admit I was wrong.
Yeah, we're gonna dock you 25 days internet pay. You gotta go watch a Boogie stream for like 20 minutes.
20 minutes?
Yeah, you gotta hear him screaming and flailing his fat around.
Dude, you act like I killed someone. Oh my goodness, I was just wrong about a weapon.
I mean, that's almost as bad. That's almost as bad.
Oh, God.
But at least you didn't get the...
Can we see the one where he pulls a gun on someone?
Yes, that'll be fine.
Thank you.
Now, the shotgun is the Spaz 12, and we can only hope that the Turks can bring us a good clone of that, so we don't have to pay $3,000 for one from the 80s that doesn't even work. I mean, the Spaz 12 is
the
good.
Magnum?
And yeah,
the Magnum is the greatest Magnum. Best Magnum.
The Deagle. I guess the Deagle shows up in every Resident Evil game except for 4, I think.
Resident Evil 1, they went with the Smith & Wesson Python. Okay. 44 Magnum.
That's 357.
And
the Python was only ever
my bad.
That's going to be
Correction,
a
357.
Wings of Redemption video for you. But you only have to watch 1 minute of it.
And the Deagle showed up in 2. And I remember it was going to be Leon's default, but they realized we can't give you a Magnum to start the game. So instead, here's a VP-70, an extremely obscure early polymer German pistol.
Yeah, that's not a bad gun. I've always wanted one just because it was in Aliens. But the way they designed it, like it really kind of caps your velocity because it has to slow it down because it's a direct blowback pistol, believe it or not. You know, the VP-70 is supposed to be futuristic, but what the VP-70 was supposed to be, VP literally stands for Volkspistola. It's meant as like a last-ditch stay-behind gun in case the Soviets charged across the Fulda Gap. It was never meant to be a futuristic thing. It was meant to be cheap.
And yet, it was a work of art.
Yeah. I might get one day, but it's not a priority right now.
I bought an airsoft one, which I just wanted because it was cool looking. And yes, if you get the stock, it turns it into a 3-round burst airsoft pistol.
See, I don't really look at airsoft as kind of like a little bit lame, but I will admit that's a pretty good attention to detail right there.
I used to play the hell out of airsoft back in the day. Come home all welted up.
I mean, you know, having a welt, not necessarily fun, but at least unlike with paintball, you don't have to clean it all off. You just heal up. Let's see. So, one of the main weapons you get in the game, one of the major weapons you get is the charged particle rifle. You use it for the final boss fight.
The CP rifle.
I know. It's like, I guess they didn't know that, like, that's not exactly, kosher, let's say.
Let's just say let's keep it friendly. We'll just call it the cheese pizza rifle.
The Vouch Pistole.
If you know, you know.
The Vouch Pistole?
Yes, the Vouch Pistole.
So yeah, you finally face off with Morpheus at the very end of the game, and you get the charged particle, the Vouch rifle, And it's a pretty powerful gun. The final boss fight's not annoying. But then you have to escape this oil rig. Okay, so we kind of skipped over some of the plot. Okay, you don't stay on the boat during the entire game. Eventually, the boat hits an iceberg, and that starts the central bank. Wait, no, wait, that was the Titanic. But anyway, the boat hits an iceberg and sinks. You escape, and then what ends up happening is you go to like this raccoon waste disposal, not raccoon, umbrella waste disposal facility. And is it on an oil rig, or is it just like on an island and that's it?
It's on an island.
Okay, for some reason I thought it was an oil rig. And so
That's
where
because during the stream, one of the members in the stream asked if there would be a Resident Evil ever set on a oil rig.
Okay. Well, anyway, you go through there, you learn some more about what's going on, and then finally you do get to face Morpheus. He's got two phases. One where you fight him when he is Purdy, and one where he turns into, like a giant blob monster. So, like, we'll call him Boogie 2. And you got to play whack-a-mole with his head. All the while you're trying to escape, as there's a countdown. There's a little segment, which I don't have any footage of, unfortunately, because it didn't look very good, where Fondling has to like help you out, and she tells you which way to go so you can get out of the base in time. I thought that was another little thing that was pretty neat that they did. It was another little element of quality,
I do like that. Yeah, she kind of becomes like the Overwatch, where she guides you down a hallway as you're trying to evacuate. How she ends up right next to you at the end is above and beyond me, but I'm willing to look the other way if you are.
Yep. It's called the movie magic. And so after you end up defeating the giant blob monster, the whole facility gets nuked from orbit with like a giant laser cannon. And then we smash cut to credits where we got some rock and roll music playing. And then finally, come to find out there's a little escape pod, and you and Fondling get to have some last minute fun times.
If there's something I always love to joke about, especially with the end, where you see them in the escape vessel, I like to assume that is not a signal flare he's sending up. Rather, he is just orgasming so hard he blows the doors off the vessel.
Oh my. Well, I guess old Brucey needs to have something to make up for his bad neck.
Well, he is a Dongua after all.
Yeah, say dong, eh?
Yeah.
All right, so how would you rate this game compared to the other Resident Evil games? Not just the B Team sequels, but we're talking about just the whole series as a whole.
So if I'm gonna rate it against actual Resident Evil titles and not as a spinoff, it is 100% perfectly adequate. It's not going to change your life if you don't play it. You're not missing anything if you never play it. But if you do play it, god damn it, if you're not in for a good time.
I think that's like the best review you could give a game. It's like, did you actually have fun with it? I'm going to give my review in just a second, but I want to mention something. There's a game I'm going to do a video on in the next couple of months, and that game is going to be called Eisenhorn. Eisenhorn is a book trilogy for Warhammer 40k. Love the books. The game was a mobile game for Android and iOS. It got a Steam port for some ungodly reason, and so I spent it's like a 5-hour game for a mobile. I don't know why you would design a 5-hour game for mobile. And I feel like I wasted my life playing this game because it is so bad. So bad. That's like the worst review you can give any kind of game. I feel like I wasted my life. Whereas, with Resident Evil here, Dead Aim, like, I did not waste my life. In fact, I liked it a lot. I liked it more than I think maybe even you did, Triple X, because, like, to me, Resident Evil is like this monolith that I just can't get into because it's overly difficult. At least for me it is, because I can never figure out where I'm supposed to go. Never can figure out what I'm supposed to do. Whereas with this game, it's dumb enough for even me. And also, the combat
Yeah,
is not overly complicated.
it isn't. Well, this game doesn't really demand much of you other than can you aim gun? And like I said, there's really no puzzles to speak of. And they use characters that get banished to the island of forgotten characters, never to be used again. So, like I said, it's not something that if you never play it, you're not missing anything.
If you don't like Resident Evil, I would honestly recommend playing this though, because like a lot of the complaints that people have for Resident Evil aren't in this game, but it still feels like an RE game. It's still collecting some keys, figuring out some basic stuff. It just feels like it removes a lot of the tedium while maintaining a lot of the soul. I know that like for hardcore Resident Evil fans, RE4 is not considered a real Resident Evil game. So if you want to play a quote end quote real Resident Evil game, this might be the one for you.
Yeah, I agree. Technically, 4 isn't really a Resident Evil game, but I still appreciate what it is. Um, now it pains me to say this, but I do have to give some demerits to this game. And if you've been with the Resident Evil series from the beginning, or even if you've just recently played them, you know the soundtrack is what makes or breaks a good title. And sadly to say, in Dead Aim, they really dropped the ball on the soundtrack. Like the best way I can describe it is like it's almost this weird ambient, aquatic, electronic music. There's no standout tracks.
Wait.
You know, and Silver Wings mentions the Save Room theme. Like that's really the only theme. That's really the only song that's noticeable. It's got really a generic sound in the intro. The the credit song is probably the best part. But other than that, yeah, boo the soundtrack. But even
Honestly,
that's not enough to subtract from the game.
honestly, when I was playing it, I didn't really pay that close attention to it. So there's that. And since this is entirely off the cuff, we kind of didn't do everything in the normal order that I like to do, and I don't think anyone cares. um, we didn't mention the voice acting. I just remember this. And yeah, the voice acting in this game is not bad. It is 100% perfect in my opinion. Perfect for Resident Evil because it's really, really bad, really, really funny. The words don't match up to the subtitles, and it has a lot of really weird word choice. I love it. Because it kind of calls back to the first game where they had the really derpy voice acting. I don't mind little imperfections like derpy voice acting. I think it gives a game character.
Yeah, therapy voice acting in service of the whole. And I wow, that sounded really bad.
Oh my! In service of
Therapy
Morpheus's whole.
derpy voices in service of the big picture can be fun. Whereas, you know, like earnest voice acting in a just stupid game can be bizarre. And I think Resident Evil just walks that razor's edge where it's just campy enough that they can get away with it.
Yeah, we're gonna eventually do a podcast on RE remake. And I've not played RE remake. I've played like 2 seconds of it. So, but I haven't played it. Played it, I guess you could say. And so I'm looking
You
forward to
know,
like. Go on.
I I don't like to mention you know other games outside of the one we're covering, but yeah, I do have to admit that like the uh the remake of 1 is probably going to be the platinum standard for how remakes should be.
Well, it's not just that, but like I want to see like how I'm gonna react to good voice acting in that game because like when I think RE, I always think of like the what is this versus like proper voice acting that's not just random like actors they picked up off the streets of Tokyo or something or wherever Capcom is located.
Okay, since we're doing this live, I got to get something off my chest, and I want to get the reaction of the chat here. I'm probably going to get some shit for this, but I swear to God, Rebecca Chambers is the most overrated character in the entire series.
I mean, I
She
could kind of
pissed me
agree with
off
that.
in 1. She annoyed me in 0. She was slightly better in Remake, but other than that, what the hell does she do? Nothing. Hell, even Sherry Birkin got her own game where she got more of a glow up than Rebecca did.
I think it's kind of sad that Rebecca didn't get more. Well, I guess I know Rebecca did get her own game, so there's that. When I was a youth, I was always kind of hot for Jill Valentine because she was just really cool with her awesome little backstory. Although Rebecca, we're kind of leaving the bounds of Dead Aim here. Not that there's not much to say other than game good, game silly. It's neat that they used a light gun, but we'll talk about Rebecca for a minute. Rebecca is not that bad though. She's a child prodigy. She's a little less relatable than say Jill, because Jill was somebody who had to work for a living, whereas Rebecca's a child prodigy that kind of got everything not necessarily handed to her, but she's like the wonder kind of thing, So I can see why people would have a problem with her.
Exactly, and her voice. Oh, that voice.
See, I read the book before I ever played the game, so my when I think of her voice, I think of something that my brain created versus like what the actress sounded like.
He maces Chris in the face and then goes, "Oh no!" And I'm like, "I'm done. I'm out."
Uh-oh. Well, we'll see if she's. Yeah, Azon here says she's better in the remake. We'll find out. So, I would like to see like a big collection of Resident Evil games get re-released, like on Steam or the various modern consoles, so people could experience Dead Aim and some of these also rans. Something that'd be easier than like being a PC gamer like myself that can just emulate it.
Must be nice.
Because I have to
Must
acknowledge
be
that
nice.
not everybody's a PC gamer like me. The great PC gamer such as myself. And some people just want to put a disc in or go to their console of choice. So like just like a Resident Evil like re-release of like maybe this. File 1 and 2, that GBA game. No, is it a GBA or Game Boy Color? I can't remember.
I believe it was GBA.
Okay. That one, maybe a couple of the light gun games. We got to play some of the other light gun games that are more like on rails, not like this.
Oh, are you talking about Gaiden?
Yeah.
Oh, that was Game Boy. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Silver Wings mentioned as Game Boy Color. And Agnostic says the old games were on the PlayStation Store. House of the Dead LP.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, definitely. I can emulate House of the Dead with the Wiimotes. I've actually played a little bit of that. The only problem is I'm not very good at House of the Dead. But
we're going to have a House of the Dead over here in about 2 seconds if this weather doesn't stop.
Yeah, I mean, it does that every winter, though. We got lucky in Houston.
Remind me before we wrap up. I have to tell you what happened today.
All right. Well, I guess we're done.
But that's for later.
Yeah, I guess we're done with DS. Good game or Dead Aim. There we go. I keep wanting to call it DS, but there's Dead Aim. Good game. Highly recommend it.
Dead Aim is never done. We're going to go for another 16 hours talking about it.
I don't think so. There are probably YouTube channels where they have like a 4-hour video on Dead Aim. I don't know what they'd be saying for 4 hours, but I don't know that I want to know. It's like
they'd be talking longer than the game is actually, derived from.
Well, like people that put out like a 5-hour video on like an hour and a half long movie. It's like,
yes.
Why? And Triple X doesn't actually have a webcam, so he's just going to be having his avatar. flash
Oh,
over there.
no, 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 no. I have a webcam. I just refuse to face. I'm a private person.
Yep, I don't even know what his real name is. I think his name is like Hank Hill. No, it's Bob Ross. There we go.
That's right.
Robert Allen Ross.
I always liked the name DB Cooper.
Yep. I now Triple X. I don't think you've ever played any of the Elder Scrolls games, right?
No.
All right, so if I do that, I'll just have to either do it myself or I'll have to like tie Triple X to a chair and force him to play all of Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion, modded, of course.
You could just ask me to play it, you know.
Well, where'd the fun of that be?
Well, how else do you expect me to cover it if I don't play it?
Well, I'll leave like your hands untied, but they'll be like right in front of you, so you'll just like you'll be tied to the controller. There we go.
You know, I'll still let you put the Rudy Tooty point and shooty to the back of my skull.
I won't need to do that. You'll get so sucked into the game, you won't even want to get up. You'll be exactly like somebody from Singapore.
What if I have to pee?
I said you'll be like somebody from Singapore where you'll just use bottles, right? And then die
What
of a
if I
heart
get
attack.
thirsty?
Well, there you go. You make your own. Never mind. I'm not going to say that. Oh man, we get in trouble for that.
Uh,
You know, okay, real talk for a minute. I read a book called it was a zombie book. I think it's called like Dead Rising or Dead Army or something, right? Where they got this guy on a cruise ship and he runs out of water. How do you think he survives and doesn't die of dehydration?
Osmosis.
Nastiest thing I ever read in my life. It wasn't even a good book. It was terrible.
You know, there was a X-Files episode that was set on a boat that aged everybody, and they thought it was the water supply, and god damn was that a creepy episode.
Oh man, the X-Files. And yes, he does Bear Grill it. That was a terrible book though. But anyway. All right, well I guess we're done. It took a lot less time than I thought it would. It only went on about an hour. We're just going to be doing more of these podcasts. Some are going to be live, some are going to be pre-recorded. It's not going to just be video games. We're going to talk about some movies. The next podcast, as far as I know, it might change. Everything's subject to change because, like, if we get like just inspired to do something, we'll just go do it. But the next one I want to do is on the James Bond movies. Both me, Triple X, and Chainsaw Man. We're each going to pick our 3 favorite James Bond movies and then discuss them. So, Triple X, what's your 3 favorite?
My absolute top 3 favorites are, in no particular order, Casino Royale 2006, For Your Eyes Only 1984, and Diamonds Are Forever 1979.
No, it wouldn't be 79. That's the last Sean Connery, so that's going to be sooner than that or earlier than that. And
yeah,
so,
I'm not sure what year that one came out, but those are my top 3.
So for me, it's GoldenEye, Moonraker, and Dr. No.
Dr. Oh No.
With Ursula Andress, or no, Ursula Undress, as Gramps called her.
That's right. AKA Honey Rider.
Yep. So next time we'll be talking about those. And so for now, I am General Lotz, wishing you good.
Knock it off. Knock it off. I have something I need to rant about.
Uh-oh.
I'm trying to drive home from work this morning through the disgusting, dirty, filthy, fresh, clean snow. And my car decides that the ASM in TCS is going to fault, causing the car to go into limp mode. I lose power steering completely, and I cannot go over 25 miles per hour. I am doing a mile an hour up the hill in the snow, just miserable, in desperate need to pee, and made it home, and now I'm stuck because I can't go nowhere because the car is basically in frustrated at me mode. So here I am, frozen to death, bringing content to you wonderful people. Wherever you're at, if you're in the snow or the ice, please be safe. Or if you're somewhere nice and warm like Australia, I don't know anyone who's nice and warm in Australia. You know, lucky, lucky.
Watch out for huntsman
Anyway,
spiders.
yeah, that's right. Don't get kicked by any kangaroos, and look out for the spooters. And yeah, that's my rant about the snow. My goddamn car decided to shit the bed at the most important moment.
That is crappy. All right. Well, I'm General Lotz saying, watch out for the snow, watch out for the kangaroos, and we will catch y'all next time.
And I am Triple X Medic saying, watch out for the drunken peasants and the boogies. And I love you all. See you next time. Subscribe or die. Bye, everybody.